Okay, all right. So I had a couple questions that was actually on the Janome website, and a lot of people wanted to know exactly how I made and embroidered this little hat here. So I'm going to show you actually how I floated it and pinned it, and the supplies that I actually use on it. So normally I start out with the 14. It says right here, it says square 14 B. So I believe it's like 140 by 140, but I could be wrong on that. So I wanted to show you how to float your hat and be able to actually sew on it. So this right here, it has like a little sticky back to it. So normally what I do is I go ahead, put my hoop down. This actually goes right here in the middle. And yes, this is a pain sometimes to try to get these things to loosen up and actually fit in the middle here of my hoop. So I'll just try to get this down here if I can. It's not easy. You know, it's like, you know, you get a thick piece of paper here, but it has a sticky back to it. So normally once I do, I just take it and score the middle of it. So you just take your scissors, score the middle of it, and start peeling this off. Make sure you score just enough without cutting it. Sometimes I cut it and I cut it right through, and then I have to start all over. But anyways, you start peeling off the backing here, and it just makes it a lot easier once you get it all peeled off. Then you can actually, I usually just kind of go around it here. Get this whole center as much as I can, actually. Okay, and this is basically what we call floating. So you can actually take your hat, you can take your fabric, and instead of hooping it, because it is hard to get your fabric in hoops sometimes, especially if you got you know, you've got your fabric and then you've got your layers in between, which is your batting or whatever, if you're going to actually do for a quilt. This is so much easier to actually do. So I just kind of score down here. Kind of peel these sides off. I'm hoping you can see that. I keep pushing it back, and I don't mean to do that. So anyways, I take my hat. On the back of your hat, some of them, they have like a little Velcro piece. Other ones have snaps. It just depends. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it, and you guys know that when you put your hoop in, it locks to actually your right hand side. So you're going to take your hat, you're going to press it down, okay? And it's going to be a little hard for you to do, but you can do it. You know, press it down. You want to make sure you try to get it down as close as you can, because when you start sewing on it, another thing I forgot to tell you is you want to take this piece right here, which is the flap that's on the inside of it. If you see that flap there, you want to pin it back. Otherwise, you're going to sew it right into the cap. So just kind of push that in there without sticking yourself, because you can stick yourself on the side there, and I've done it several times, but it don't feel good at all when you do that. So take it, kind of pull it down here. Then you have to try to make sure it's, you know, as straight as you can, because it's on a sticky surface there. So you're going to want to adjust it and readjust it, and, you know, until it fits you. Now see, just when I push that down, see, I got stuck right there. Okay. But I got to make sure that that's away, because if I don't, it's going to wind up, sewing that area. So what I do is I take a couple of stick pins, and I'll just barely push it through here on one side, push it through to the other on the other side. Just make sure you don't stick yourself, because that's exactly what happens to me. You don't want to know what I'm saying when I get stuck. So so basically that's what you're doing, is you're going to have to babysit this. You can't walk away from it. I mean, you can't just like leave it on there, because this is just your regular hoop. So normally you'll have a hat hoop, I don't use a hat hoop. I don't even mess with it. You know, it's just as easy to do it this way than it is with a hat hoop. And plus, you know, then you're spending all the extra money out that you don't need. So it's better just to do it this way, but you're going to have to babysit this thing. So once we get it on there, I'll show you exactly how it works, and we'll just kind of go from there. Okay. Okay. So my hoop is set. So we're ready to sew. At this point, you just go ahead and you put in whatever colors that you're going to use for your design. And then you just lower your lever and start. But like I said before, you got to babysit this. You just can't walk away from it. So let's kind of go from there and see what happens. Okay, so for some of this, I'm going to have to just hold my phone and stuff because I don't have the proper lighting or anything like that that's in my craft room right now. So normally when I go ahead and then I set a design out here, and this is actually the design that I went ahead and added stitches to and created. I usually go with like a Cricut design, and you can get them, you know, you buy them or you can get them free. And then once you do that, then you can actually pull it into an embroider and then start setting your stitches, which, you know, I can go back and do a video on that and show you how to do it. And then you'll be able to do all kinds of designs, but you know, it starts with an SVG. And then once you go from your SVG, you'll go to, I think it's a JEF, I believe. I believe that's what this one is. And then once I go ahead and then I pull it in to my machine, because I put it on my USB stick here, and then I pull it into my machine, I can actually drag it anywhere from here to if I want it in the middle, if I wanted to pull it down a little bit further. Now with hats, you're going to try to pull it down as close as you can, just because if you have it up here and you're trying to do a design of your hat, it's going to go over the top. You know, it's going to be like right here, like right up here. You don't want that. So, and I've done that several times already, and it's, you know, it's hard because, you know, you don't have a hat hoop. So you're trying to do all this, you try to think about it in your mind, you know, how am I going to situate this and what am I going to do with it? And so normally what I'll do is I'll take that design and I just kind of pull it down here. And yes, you know, they probably don't recommend me using my thumb. We do have a little stick here that you can actually take a stick and just kind of move it around. It's just, you know, we all got one of those. Y'all know. So I kind of pull it down, you know, as close as I can without it going out of that hoop area. Trying to center it as much as I can, but you know, when you have a flower or whatever, it's a little bit impossible there sometimes. And then what I do is I go back, I'll press OK. All right, that's already on there. Okay, go back, press OK. And then that's when I go ahead and I start everything. So this is actually a design that's supposed to go on the hat. So it says it takes like 18 minutes. So let's just kind of go from there. Okay, so now it started out. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna press start here. The thing about it is sometimes I go ahead and hold this string here because you know that when you're sewing, sometimes it wants to get wrapped around like this little area here. And so I want to pull it back to make sure that it doesn't do that. And you know, I don't have any breakages when it comes to my thread. So, and I can't say it doesn't make me nervous when I do this, because you know, it does. You know, but that's why I keep saying you've got to babysit this thing. This is just not one of those projects you can just walk away with and then come back and it's just magically done. It doesn't, you know, I wish it was, but you know, this is a one needle. This is not like you got 6 or 8 needles. So we'll just take a look at it and go from there. Hey guys, so I got it done. Got it. You know, the hat's finished and everything. And I wanted to add like a little sand to it. It says salty on it. It's really cool. So let me know what you think. I don't know. I think it came out pretty well. So just let me know what you think. Have a good night.